Hello, welcome to this special forecast update. Here on the potential for severe weather for tomorrow, March 31st. It's a Monday. We're looking at a potential significant severe weather event here in our region, the Mid-Atlantic. So we're going to look at the risk areas here. You see the orange area is an enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5. That goes from Central Virginia down to the Gulf Coast. And the slight risk, level 2 out of 5 in the yellow. And surrounding that is the dark green, the marginal risk level 1 out of 5. And the slight risk is expansive, as well as the enhanced risk is getting pretty close to our region. But that slight risk goes all the way up into New York and comes down all the way to the Gulf Coast and includes our region. Just a really expansive severe weather risk here that we are seeing. And the tornado risk is at a 2% for our area, but that yellow region is a 10%, with the brown shaded area being a 5% risk of seeing a tornado within 25 miles at any given point. Don't let these colors fool you, though. The tornado risk is quite high tomorrow. Even though we're in that little 2% in our region, there is definitely the potential for a couple tornadoes to spin up tomorrow. But definitely the most significant risk is going to be in that 10%. And I can actually see the 5% being expanded northward. Also maybe the 10% as well. Look at the wind risk, the 30% in that red. Us here in the Mid-Atlantic, we're in that 15% risk area. But I could also see the 30% being to the north as well. And of course the hail risk is actually quite low, a little 5%. But the risk for severe weather is quite high, as we just definitely for this time of year. Look at the NAM model first to see what we're looking at here. This is going into Monday morning, late morning, early afternoon. Seeing a wide open kind of area here. Some decaying thunderstorms from the previous day's severe weather event. But as we're looking here, there's not much to be seen in the way of morning convection. You can see as we go into that late morning, like 1 p.m. time frame, there is not much in the way of shower or thunderstorm activity in our warm sector at all. And that is definitely a sign that we could be seeing severe weather later in the day. And as we continue this year, we're going to look and see how these storms kind of develop. See if we get this kind of skinny line starting to kind of pop off here in the Panhandle, West Virginia, in central Maryland, and up to PA. This could be the initiating boundary off of the just moisture and a little short wave. This is not the cold front itself. And these could be quite isolated in nature. So we could see a hail and tornado risk develop with these storms. And as we continue, it's about 2 p.m., 3 p.m., we're seeing kind of individual storms, semi-discrete or discrete supercells, right by themselves along the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. And these have the potential to produce some tornadoes and hail, as well as damaging wind gusts. And these could be potentially significant supercells that we're seeing. These were not on the models just a couple runs ago. So these are new developments here, and if we continue to see this, this could be a bad sign. We're seeing tomorrow, if we continue here, we got these supercells going into New Jersey, northern towards central Delaware as well. These could be producing, once again, damaging winds, hail, tornadoes. We're seeing the development of another line along the actual cold front that could be producing damaging wind gusts. And as we continue this, supercells pass by the region around 4 or 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and that line starts to come through around 7. It continues. We're seeing the development of some supercells right ahead of that line, right along the bay and eastward. These could be producing tornadoes as that cold front gets closer, we get more forcing, the winds start kicking up again, and these could produce tornadoes as well. I think these have a higher risk of producing tornadoes than the earlier ones that we've seen, and that line also could be producing tornadoes as well. Pretty expansive line segment here, potentially significant damaging winds and a few spin-up tornadoes. And as we continue this here, we are seeing the line come through around 9 p.m. And you see we have these dark, outshaded regions here along the line. That is indicative of rotating updrafts. That could be in the form of hail and or tornadoes. And embedded within a line segment here, this would be tornadoes. It looks like rotating thunderstorms within that line that could produce a quick spin-up tornado. As we look at the updraft helicity track here, this kind of shows the rising air and rotation within thunderstorms. So you have this gray area here that's normal updrafts, thunderstorms, showers, anything like that. But as we continue this through the afternoon, we're seeing the development of the green area, and I know the quality isn't the best, but you see all throughout this region, Maryland, Panhandle, West Virginia, and getting into Delaware, we're seeing the rotation within these storms. And as the prefrontal supercells and the line comes through, we're seeing a lot of this green and yellow. It's not the highest, but it is still showing the potential for rotating updrafts within these thunderstorms, and the potential for a couple spin-up tornadoes, and emphasizing the risk for this is up there. It's not a whimsy, brief, week, maybe if we're lucky. This is showing multiple chances for these spin-up tornadoes that I'm not expecting anything really long-lived or significant, like violent tornadoes, but I could see a few spin-ups somewhat significant. And we're going to look at the significant tornado parameter. Again, I know the quality is not the best, but we have a number somewhere between 1 and 2. It's not super high, but I just want to look at a sounding from Kent County and to see what we're really looking at here. And you can see here the potential hazard type says tornado, and that is not really a common occurrence. What you see here, it usually says something like marginal, severe, or marginal tornado, but a tornado sounding is pretty significant in this area. You see we have good moisture, 72 over 65, temperature and dew point there, and the thunderstorm fuel has definitely gone up in the past couple of runs here. See, we're about 1,500. This blue line being spread out from the red and green definitely shows that there is elevated instability here, thunderstorm fuel, and we see you have curving of the hodographs. That is indicative of rotation within these thunderstorms and in the atmosphere. So we could be seeing as these little prefrontal supercells come in, and then within the line, we could be seeing rotation within them. And once again, we could see a couple brief spin-up tornadoes. And you can see as we go down the line here with the wind, they're coming out of the south at the surface, but as you go up, they come out of the southwest. I'll tell a sign that we're seeing that low-level jet increase and the rotation within these thunderstorms. Another model I want to look at is the HRRR. Now, the NAM does have a better handle on this, but I still think it's worth looking at another shorter range model to see if we have any agreement between the two. So you see, we have a little more thunderstorm activity. Still a pretty open, warm sector, but the thunderstorm activity is a lot more potent and increased on this HRRR model. As we go about 11 to 12 p.m., we're seeing some more thunderstorm development out ahead of another complex thunderstorms. These could be showers around the Delaware area, but as you go into the Panhandle, West Virginia, and West Virginia itself, we could be seeing more thunderstorm activity, strong to severe. And you can see we have these supercells popping out ahead of this line right along the Chesapeake Bay, and that line going all the way down into Virginia. And this could be a supercell that produces a tornado around the bay if it was to play out like this. So as it continues up northward, it's strong, producing damaging winds, probably a tornado, possibly a tornado, my bad. And we're seeing just additional development along the bay. That is one thing we're seeing on both models, is the development around the Chesapeake Bay. And as we go into the later evening hours, we're once again seeing those black outshaded regions within this line segment. So both models are agreeing on prefrontal supercells and this line segment producing potential spin-up tornadoes as well. And once again, very strong damaging wind gusts along it as well, if no tornadoes. So definitely treat any severe thunderstorm warnings along this line as if they were potential tornado warnings, because they could be producing pretty strong wind gusts to near tornado-like speed, and this could definitely cause damage to homes and trees around the area. And I want to look at the impact index here. So we have thunderstorm wind at a likely factor, and this is, the most substantial threat that I think right now, with that line of storms that comes through later in the evening. But hail at a low, but tornadoes are possible. And I think if we continue to see what we're seeing on the models, this could be upgraded to a likely. And we definitely could see that upgrade to a likely tomorrow as we go through the outlook progression. And then heavy rain as well. Do not sleep on the potential for isolated flooding as these thunderstorms come through, because they have a lot of moisture to work with. And as we go later into the evening, we will see a back to low-level jet to be able to have more thunderstorms develop behind that main line. But the hail that is pretty low at this time. We see wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour in the most intense bowing segments along that line. And I think if we continue to see this and that wind threat increases to 30%, we could see wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour. That's a lot as known as this time. So we're kicking at 70. Large hail up to 1.5 inches in diameter. That's about ping pong ball size, but that's pretty low at this time. But the tornado risk is getting up there. A couple tornadoes possible in the strongest discrete cells. I think we could see a couple tornadoes tomorrow. So wrapping up here, once again, a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. Damaging wind gusts is going to be the main threat, but we are seeing that 10% risk for tornadoes in Virginia, and the 5% risk getting close to our area, but the 2% right now. I think they could upgrade later tonight to a more substantial risk for tornadoes if we continue to see the trends that we're seeing. But it's only time will tell, and the environmental conditions that we see tomorrow will be the story that we will see tomorrow, and will lead to how strong these thunderstorms are and their ability to produce tornadoes. I'm not expecting anything crazy with these storms, but still could see a few tornadoes within the discrete and line segments. And within the line segments as well, we could be seeing those damaging wind gusts. Right now at the 15%, but we could see that 30% rise more into our area if, once again, the models continue to show what they're showing, with the potential significant winds in the line segments. And the hail risk is a little low, of course. But do not take this as I'm saying or see these colors on the outlook and say, oh, we're not in the most intense risk for severe storms. We're only at a 2 out of 5, not in that 3 out of 5. because this could increase more as we go into tomorrow and go through tomorrow's outlook. And we see a lot of times that the highest risk does not see the most intense storms. So even if we're not in that highest risk, we still could see significant severe storms. And people see this and they'll say, oh, these past couple of days, it's been real warm in the 80s. It's been sunny at times. And today is no different. But once again, that tornado risk is definitely going to be up there. And, we go through the day, some sun comes out, and the people around the area are going to think, oh, it's going to be the same as it was the past couple of days. No rain, just real warm and real sunny. And it's going to be a normal day. And then as you go later in the evening, we're seeing these significant severe storms develop. And it's going to catch people off guard. And that is a worry in fact. So make sure you share this with whoever you can, family, friends, social media, whatever you can, to get the word out there, because people will not be expecting this if they do not hear about it first. And I'm not saying this is going to be a significant tornado outbreak with multiple long-track violent tornadoes or anything like that. I'm just saying there is a higher risk for severe storms in our area that we do not see very often. So just make sure you have a way to receive warnings tomorrow. But that's all I got. Make sure you stay safe, and I'll talk to you again soon.